I recently read Elvis and Me by Priscilla Presley Bowler, and these are my thoughts. I just want to say that my thoughts are in the event that these things did happen. I've had a hard time wondering if I should do this review because there's another book out there called Child Bride. I have not read it, but a lot of people who are big fans of Elvis, they don't like Priscilla or think Priscilla's lying about things. And I was torn whether I should do this review or not because I haven't read Child Bride. But one thing that I do have to say that I feel that there's no way around it. And before I say this, let me say if you don't agree to what I'm gonna say, that's fine. We don't all have to agree, and I'm not really looking to debate because, like I said, this is just a review and this is just what I think about the book. I feel that there's no going around the fact that what happened here, whether all these events happen or not, no going around the fact that what did happen was grooming. A lot of people also say, and I've read from reviews that they say, oh, Elvis didn't want to marry Priscilla, he felt pressured because of her parents. But if there's anything that I've learned from the many books that I've read on Elvis, from people that worked with him or people that knew him, is that you couldn't tell Elvis what to do. Elvis did what he wanted to do. And not even Priscilla's parents were going to tell him what to do. No one told him to talk to her when he was 14 years old. No one told him to talk to her again after he stopped talking to her for 6 months. It doesn't make sense to me. What I do feel from this book is that it feels she was pretty much disposable to him. And I feel that it comes with the ego of, being famous and knowing that you have everyone at your feet. That you can just be like, well, you're not gonna do what I say. It's my way or the highway. I feel that she fell in a situation where you go into, and I know this because it's happened to me, you go in a situation where you get involved with someone from a very young age to the point where it's all you know. You're very infatuated, you're very in love with this person, and you don't know anything else. You feel threatened by the fact that you know that these people can have anyone, that this person can be like, well, if you're not up for my way of being, you can go. Let me just open parentheses. A lot of people will say, well, it was all her parents' fault. It was both parties' faults. Both things can be true. Priscilla here could not consent. And close parentheses. Anyway, I've seen fans defending the fact that he would cheat on her, saying, I found that the same people that trash Priscilla are the same people who say that if Elvis would have kissed them right then and there, even though he was married, they would have happily obliged. I just feel like to some people, they always have an answer for everything. Anyway, so along the storyline, we see how she cannot wear prints. She has to wear her hair the way he wants it. She has to wear a lot of makeup because her eyes are too plain looking. He promised her parents that she would continue going to school, but he would, if he wanted to be out until 5 in the morning and she needed to be with him, and she had school at 7 or 8, he would have her on pills so that she would stay awake while he went back to sleep. And then when she would come back from school, he'd still be sleeping and she had to be up so that she could attend to him. Flirting with women in front of her, making her feel like he wasn't interested in her troubles. And when she voiced that she wanted to continue her education, she wasn't allowed to do that. She had to be home, even though more than half the time he wasn't home himself. I could never understand that. There was one part in the story that really pulled at my heartstrings, and it was a part where Priscilla had seen pictures of Elvis riding on Sunset Boulevard with another woman, and he was telling her that, she was raising her suspicions, and he was saying that she was crazy, that she was imagining things, to the point where he told her basically, you know what, pack up, you're going back to your parents. She's like, I'm not going. And he starts packing for her, and then when she's sobbing as she's packing, and when she's heading, going on her way, he turns her back and he tells her, Now do you understand? Do you see that you need this? You need someone to take you right to this point and put you in your place. I was relieved and happy to be back in his arms. Anything he'd said would have made sense to me in that moment. What I didn't realize until later was that this was Elvis's technique of keeping me under control." End quote. I'm just really happy that after the many times that he had cheated on her, I'll just say allegedly, people villainize her because she had an affair during the marriage, and it's like, I'm not saying two wrongs make a right, but I'm glad that at least she discovered that she's a person and that the things that she was going through are not normal. And there's people who are upset because she's been in charge of a lot of things, Elvis, after his death. And it's like, in my point of view, I know some of you might not share it, and that's okay. But in my point of view, after having given your youth to someone who thought your life revolved around them, where you weren't allowed to be your person, I'm glad. I'm good for her. I'm glad that she got to be in charge of a lot of things after his death, because you know what? She deserves it. If she's getting her buck for it, good for her, honestly. That being said, I do plan on reading Child Bride. And just to end this, I'm just gonna say that I do hope that anyone who's going through any type of abuse in some way does read this book, because whether everything in here happened or not, the end point here is that discovering who you are is very important. Living for yourself is important. I just hope that you know that you're important, and no matter who you are with, you are your own person of value and you have so much to give. And I hope that you go out in the world and do you.